Hi guys, I'm Termeyy, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll show you how to make the beat for Telekinesis by Travis Scott, Future and SZA. This beat was made by Travis Scott, Boogs the Beast, Kanye West, Wally Lane, John Sweet, Nabane and Hudson Moki. As you can read here on Genius, this track was originally a Kanye West track. The melody they used for this song was made by Wally Lane and you can find it in this pack from Kingsway Music Library, the Wally Lane Volume 1. And the melody is called Arena. They didn't change the pitch or the tempo of this loop, so it's as the original one. I will skip the listening of the loop because I'm 100% sure that I will get a copyright claim. So let's listen to my recreation of the loop. First thing, I made this serum patch to recreate the main synth. I used two saw waves, different octaves. The second one is hidden in the background because, as you can see, I set it to a really low volume. Then I added some distortion, a lot of chorus, a 8-note ping-pong delay, reverb and EQ. But the most important thing is the LFO set as an envelope that is controlling the cutoff of the filter. As you can hear, there is a little bit of delay on the attack. With this synth, they're playing these chords from the G-sharp Lydian scale. The progression is a 1-7-3-5. The first chord is the G-sharp major chord. They're also adding a 7 on this chord on the third beat. This note is really important in the Lydian scale because it helps to create this smooth R&B feeling in the chords. Then they're playing the G minor 7 chord with a third on top on the third beat. And then they're playing the C suspended 2-7 chord. So as you can see, we have the D that is a suspended 2 and then the A sharp that is a 7. And they're holding the same structure on the last chord, the fifth chord, the D sharp major 7 chord. And they're always adding a third on the higher octave. These chords repeat for 8 bars with a change on the third chord on the last bar. They are playing a G major chord instead of a G minor chord. This chord is borrowed from the Lydian sharp 2 scale. It's a Lydian scale with the second note moved up by a semitone. Anyway, we have to consider that they're holding the C as a root note. So this chord becomes like a C major sus2 7 chord or a C minor major 7 chord. So it's easier to just think that they're playing the G major chord instead of the G minor. Then we have a bass just playing the root notes. I use the classic saw bass played on 2 octaves, a little bit of filter, distortion, EQ and flanger. These are the notes. Then we have this preset from Omnisphere, Call of the Ancients, is like a brass playing this interval of notes. And then the last synth is this weird resonance pad. It's just a saw wave with a little bit of unison, detune, and this filter moving up with a lot of resonance. A little bit of chorus, EQing, distortion and reverb, and then I have a little bit of phaser for additional movement. For the second part of the loop, I think that it just resampled the main synth and they pitched it down by an octave. As you can see, the beat is really simple, they are just repeating the loop for the entire beat, and then they're adding some elements in some parts. We got this digital tambourine as a percussion. I use serum with a white noise and a lot of resonance on the filter. It's really important to apply a key tracking to the filter. A lot of distortion, a little bit of delay, a filter moving with this envelope, and then an EQ cutting the lows. The snare on the 2 and the 4. This snare took me an entire day to remake it. It's like a tonal saw snare, I don't really know. I made it using Serum, a saw wave with the sync modulation. The sync modulation is like adding octaves to the wave. A little bit of noise and then the filter with a lot of resonance. So the most important thing is the filter that is creating all the harmonics in the snare. Then we have a lot of distortion, reverb. This EQ that is essential to achieve the most important harmonics in the snare. We have this boost at 856 Hz. And then I'm applying a little bit of EQing, a lot of EQing, saturation, Valhalla plate, Echo Boy, and Saturn. Then we have an 808 just replaying the root notes of the first 2 chords. It's a really distorted 808, I use this sample. and then I put Decapitator on it. Then we have some drums that I chopped from the original track, mainly orchestral snares and hi-hats. And in the background we have this beatbox loop playing on the beat and the offbeat. I made it by myself, as you can hear. I may have took it from Splice or from some random sample packs. Then we have a pad playing the same chords. It's coming in when the loop goes one octave down. I use Serum, 2 saw waves played on 2 different octaves, detune, unison. As effects I have a little bit of a distortion and chorus, reverb, and then I have the filter moving with this envelope. I'm creating a pad sound using a really slow attack and release. Then we have a bass in the background. Just replaying the root notes and then changing them in the last 4 bars. I'm using Serum, classic bass, sine wave, saw wave for a little bit of harmonics, filter, distortion and EQ. What they're doing in the second part is just playing the second note of the scale instead of the 7 and the 6th note of the scale instead of the 3rd. Then, as you can see, the beat goes on without any additional element. When the SZA verse comes in, we have this violin synth. Just playing the same chords. I'm using this preset in Serum that I made, and then I'm using BBC with a classic violin and Xenology with a synth brass. For this synth I used 2 saw waves played on 2 different octaves. I'm using the second one to modulate the first one using FM synthesis. Then I have a little bit of noise, chorus, EQing, a reverb filter. It's really useful to recreate string sounding synths. And then I have this LFO controlling the filter. I'm adding a little bit of attack on the filter opening. And then for the outro they're adding some violins. I think they recorded some real ones, but I used Contact to recreate them. They have like this crescendo effect. I made it using this automation clip on the volume. What they're doing is just replaying some notes from the chords. That's all for the Telekinesis beat from Travis Scott. Smash a like and subscribe if you like this video. I will leave all my link in the description if you want to support me. I have a Patreon page where I upload all the FLPs from my remakes, Instagram if you want to follow me, and BeatStars if you want to check out my beats or drum kits. Bye and see you in the next video.